Hey, what's going on? Thank you so much for watching. It would mean the world to us if you could just scroll down, like, hit the subscribe button for the Snaps YouTube channel. It goes a long way towards helping us out. Now, let's dive into some college football. Christian says if JJ played like this against Bama, they would have lost. I have had it. I have fucking had it to hear with you Bama and Georgia fans, dude.
Mm-hmm.
With you fucking, hey, fucking
I got it all night.
fucking shoulda, woulda, coulda. Hey, Georgia, you want to be in the Natty? Beat fucking Alabama, the team that lost by 10 to Texas at home, who fucking Washington beat. Don't tell me you want to beat Washington. Shut the fuck up. Oh, but Alabama got so much better from September. So did fucking Texas, you dumbass. Fucking Georgia and Alabama, I'm sick of you. I'm sick of you because we made it the fucking invitational and you keep fucking thinking that you just deserve to play in every natty. Washington was the second best team in the country. Suck my fucking dick if you think otherwise. That's how I fucking feel. Put it on the record.
Snaps late night, baby. Let's go. Don't you piss T-Bob off with some Roll Tide shit. Let's go.
I just can't handle y'all and your fucking hubris and your fucking self-belief. You're the fucking overconfident kid who inherited his dad's car dealership and has never done anything, yet gives business advice to all the fucking people that he works with like he fucking grinded his way up. This is
my buddy who texts me, Alabama kid. Man, this makes me sick thinking of how we choked that game away as bad as we did last week.
I can't handle him. I'm seeing it too. And
it's
everywhere. Just so
everywhere.
Blind. It's so blind. It's disrespectful to Washington. It's so disrespectful to Michigan. These are the best two teams in the country in terms of game control. These were the best two teams. Guys, fucking Jalen Milroe and the Alabama offense. When did they ever play good? Show me the good defense they did well against. Hey, your God. Fucking what's his name? Carson Beck. Show me where Carson Beck and Mike Bobo dominated a great defense. Fucking show me. Because Mizzou almost had their ass.
They played good that game.
Yeah.
Why are you coming at me? I'm not defending Georgia over here. I've said it from the very beginning.
You are an effigy sitting in front of my anger.
Just taking your anger on me. I said from the beginning that Georgia didn't deserve it. You had to win the damn games. These two teams are undefeated. If anyone's sitting back pissed off with this yucky looking national championship game, it's FSU fans.
I agree.
FSU fans should be pissed off with this.
I hammered that after the semifinal. Yes. You cannot convince me that FSU couldn't have done to Michigan what fucking Bama did to Michigan. Like, you cannot convince me of that. So I guess my entire point is don't cheapen. Like, okay, whatever. You want to look at last year's championship and you want to say whoever should have been in there, blah, 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 blah. I disagree. But don't fucking cheapen this championship for Michigan because that's some bullshit. Okay? Yes, they played a pussy schedule. And I hate that they were rewarded for it. But they did end up stacking a lot of nice wins down the stretch.
They did.
And unfortunately, I hope that doesn't lead to some sort of increased cupcake scheduling. I think it's actually impossible because of the TV schedule. But again, Penn State, Ohio State, Iowa, Alabama, and now Washington. That's a murderer's row. Undefeated. They've lost one game in 2 years. Get the fuck out of here. It's the best team in the country, accept it. And I love it. Because although they technically crossed the 50% blue chip ratio threshold, they're not all fucking 5 stars.
No.
They're not Georgia and your overwhelming recruiting budget. They're not Alabama and Nick Saban and 5 stars shitting out of his ass every other day. They're a team where the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So you tell me sloppy, you tell me bad JJ, and I fucking say that's team football. That's O-line. That's defense. That's front seven. That's defensive backs. That's fucking team football.
Michigan was not sloppy. Washington was sloppy. Michigan, everyone played a great game besides JJ. I thought the running backs played great. I thought the offensive line played great. I thought the receivers, with the few opportunities they had, did what they could with it. And the defense was an A++. This was a great Michigan performance. Once again, like I said from the beginning, Michigan won the game, T-Bob. I'm nothing against Michigan at all. This was the most perfect game besides JJ being average. The most perfect game for every position.
I mean, the average is it's just purposefully disrespectful
It's not.
at this
It's
point.
not. I like the kid. He
Guess
was
what?
average tonight.
JJ was fucking average when he didn't throw it. Like you could say he's
No, he
fucking
wasn't. He was
pathetic
not
when he
average
didn't
versus Penn State. He had a
didn't
good
throw a
game versus Penn
pass in
State.
the second
He was
half.
he did yeah, that wasn't his fault. He when he was called, when his number was called, he executed.
So
He
you tell
executed.
me tonight,
When his number was called tonight,
you tell me tonight,
more
JJ
times than not, he didn't
execute.
execute.
You tell me tonight, JJ didn't
Not as
execute when his
consistently
number
as I
was
would like
called.
him to. Not as consistently as I like him
I
to. Not
disagree,
of
dude.
for the caliber of defense that he was going against in Washington. This was not a good night for him. There's nothing wrong with it. Guess what, JJ? You had a bad night and your team won by
Wait,
how many points?
hold on now.
And
Hold
you
on
won a
now.
national championship? Who gives a damn?
Now
I'm
you
just saying it wasn't a
disrespecting
great night.
Washington's. Now you disrespecting Washington's defense. What, you disrespect him because our analysis was a bit off? We maybe gave him a bit too much credit, I think Washington defense did their fucking job. Washington's defense again functionally held Michigan to 27.
No, they did good. I'm just saying, like statistically, they're not a great defense.
Okay, but what I'm saying is they held they did their but they're better than what you're giving them credit for right now. You don't fucking trip and fall into the championship with just a shit defense.
No, we've said it from the beginning. Again, in times of need this year, the defense for Washington has stood up for 2.5 quarters tonight.
And they did.
They played a really good game. They did. They stuffed the run. They got more physical. The first half, I think the one of the big touchdown runs, they showed the high end zone view. So from behind the quarterback. And they were playing a very tight quarters coverage. So those safeties were right around 7 yards in depth. And they were very aggressive. They were selling out to the run. Like, man, we're not going to get bullied at the line of scrimmage. Those safeties overcommitted and they looked slow as hell. They couldn't, essentially catch up. And then boom, all of a sudden, Edwards is off for another 30, 40-yard touchdown. They kind of loosened up a little bit, allowed those guys to play a little bit more from depth instead of at the line of scrimmage. And they were better. They were better for 2.5 quarters. I'm just saying overall, they were also better because JJ in the passing game couldn't really get going. And for Sharon Moore and the offense and the strategy, I don't disagree with it. Like run the football, and trust your defense. Like this wasn't a game where you needed to ask JJ to throw for 250 yards and 2 touchdowns. They knew it, they felt it, and they called the game plan to suit that. I'm just saying when JJ's number was called, it wasn't his best outing.
I don't know, man. I just don't think I can support it. Whether it's the runs in the third quarter, some of the other throws, it's an ugly fucking stat line. It is, but it's a fucking winning stat line.
It is.
It's
he won.
everything. It's everything. Like what I'm saying is your idea that JJ was off tonight runs counter to the idea that this is exactly how Michigan built its culture. That you don't have to have a quarterback that's on. And it's fascinating. Because it proves some wrong things about some assumptions that I had made about college football now.
Mm-hmm.
Like we said, like I thought that college, like quarterback and weapons and the difference therein would like reign supreme.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be the story at the end of the day and it'd be insurmountable. And again, Michigan is something old school. It's like they fucking stepped out of a time machine.
Yeah,
it's less me, more we. It's a self-belief, it's a toughness, and it's a mental training. Go back to JJ McCarthy's visualization that they were talking about in the broadcast. It's a mental training. All of Michigan's guys showed up.
Mm-hmm.
I said it earlier. Think about the guys that made big plays that stand out in your head. Will Johnson, Mikey Sanderstill, JJ McCarthy, the entire offensive line, Edwards, Corum, Page, and then try to find the superstars on Washington. It's just a fascinatingly constructed and a damn good team. And who would have guessed after 2020 when Jim Harbaugh went 2-4 in 6 games, and everybody was ready to fire him, myself included. We're laughing at him. He's a joke. He's done. It's a story that should inspire anyone who feels like they have self-belief that they can still do it, but the world is telling them they're not good enough, because we all fucking said it to Harbaugh. And he evolved a little bit. Not a lot. He changed. He tweaked. He altered. 12-2. 13-1. 15 and motherfucking 0.